pretty much their whole house was demolished. And he laid on top of her, and like rubble and shit fell on top of him.
Wow.
And he said,
Let me ask you this. Do you guys have basements or not?
Yeah. Yeah, most people do. Or a storm shelter. You can buy a storm shelter and put it like in your garage or something. It looks like looks like a vault that you crawl inside and lock the door. Some people have like a separate thing that's like out in the backyard. Like you'll ride by someone's house and you'll see like a little air pipe sticking up out of the ground. And means they have like a storm shelter or something like that. There was a girl who is friends with my wife who she was at her dad's office. They were doing some paperwork. The tornado hit. They got under the desk, and when they stood back up, everything was demolished, but the papers were still on the desk.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I swear.
Wow.
And there's some other people that had the same thing. They were having like a dinner get together, and they were having some beers and wine and stuff. Same thing. Their house gets demolished. The kitchen island is still there, and the glasses of wine were still sitting on the kitchen island.
Oh my God!
And my wife.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say my wife told me she came back to Joplin after it happened, and she said that she got lost because everything was wiped out. There was no trees, no buildings,
no reference points.
Yeah, the hospital, which I think was 5 or 6 floors, was shifted 6 foot off its foundation.
My God!
And just crazy. You know, I mean, just where we live now was an area that was hit by it. The house we're in was kind of on the edge, but you literally can see like where the new houses start. It's like a definite line.
Wow.
You know, so it's pretty wild.
So do you guys have like a game plan? I mean, do you go somewhere, or what happens when you hear the sirens?
Well, my in-laws have their pantry is a storm shelter.
Oh, cool.
When they had their house built, a couple, like 7 or 8 years ago, they built their house, and so they incorporated a storm shelter in the pantry. And thankfully, they weren't living in Joplin at the time. They were living about 20 minutes north of here when that happened. But yeah, it's crazy because there's a lot of empty parking lots still where things used to be. Excuse me. We came out here to visit. My first time out here was December of 2013, and you could still see where they had spray painted the street names on a lot of the streets because there were no street signs. You know,
wow.
There were still FEMA trailers like out by the airport and all this kind of stuff.
What is the elevation? Is that a valley? Are you up in the mountains, or what is Joplin?
No, that's pretty flat.
It is, okay. Yeah, it's really like a plain, okay.
Yeah, and it's down here. It's, it's in southwest Missouri. It's about 10 minutes from Oklahoma. It's about 10 minutes from Kansas, about 20, 30 minutes from Arkansas. So it's like...
Oh, okay. So you're on the west side.
Yeah, like bottom left-hand corner of Missouri, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty wild stuff, and we've had to go over to the in-laws a couple times. You know, there was one last summer that was really close. And like I-44 runs through here. And it's weird because like a lot of times tornadoes will travel the I-44 corridor, as they call it on the news. Usually comes up from Oklahoma. And I had an Army buddy from Oklahoma. He told me that the reason why there's so many tornadoes is because Texas sucks and Kansas blows. And I'll never forget that. I always thought that was pretty slick, but yeah. So are you into storm chasing? Are you into like more like weather?
I just think it's fascinating. In fact, I mean, that'd be a great topic for some podcast episodes. Mm-hmm. I mean, it scares, I think it's from even Wizard of Oz. I mean, you just think when you're a little kid seeing that. And I think that's amazing. That movie was made in 1939, and that tornado looks better than Twister movie, you know?
It really does.
It's amazing. I think they took a carpet and like rolled it up or something, I heard. I mean, it's amazing back then. That was all practical effects. Obviously, there's no computers, you know. So I think that's just amazing.
It is.
So just thinking back when I was a little kid, tornadoes, they always scare the shit out of me, but they're fascinating too.
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't make sense, but you're attracted to them and you're frightened by them at the same time.
Yeah, it's like watching people are fascinated by like the documentaries and stuff. And the storm chasing shows and things like that, but yet again, it's scary as hell. And the one that hit Joplin is weird because it it kind of rolled on its side a little bit.
Really?
So it was like a steamroller effect. Kind
Wow.
of. That's why it was so wide. Number one, I mean, it was a EF5, but also it kind of rolled on its side a little bit, and
that's what's weird about tornadoes too, because you think of like some rope tornado or something, but those massive ones, they don't even have they're just some giant wedge shape, you know?
Yeah.
They're just this wall of, like you said, a wall of wind, and then that thing, I didn't even know, like you said, it just steamrolled everything.
Yeah, and this one was also rain wrapped, so nobody.
Oh my God, that's
nobody
even
could
worse.
see it because it was a really really bad.
Oh my God,
storm. You know.
And those poor people at night. Can you imagine having a rain wrapped tornado at night or something? Oh my God,
it's crazy. So yeah, and ironically enough, my wife is definitely afraid of tornadoes.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I told her we'd have to get under the house, and then she says there's bugs under there. I was like, well, you take your chances. You can do.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, up here in Minnesota. We have tornadoes. Once we actually had one go through Minneapolis, believe it or not, which is it doesn't make any sense because usually they call it the heat dome effect. Mm-hmm. You don't get a tornado going right through a city, but that was like 1 in a million.
What part of Minnesota do you live in?
In the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, okay.
Have you been up here?
No, I have not. But I have a good Army buddy who's from Hastings. You know where that is?
Oh, I'm very close. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's from there.
Well, everything is it's not that big of an area, so
yeah. We used to get drunk and call his dad at like 2 a.m. when we were in the Army.
Sweet.
And he's like, and he'd be like, "Oh, what are you fellas doing?" You know. His dad's pretty cool. His dad is a history teacher, and he would have like model cannons in their backyard. He said they would fire cannons off and shit. And
I love fireworks too.
Yeah, so he was very outdoorsy. So that's always what I kind of equate Minnesota to. It's like
Minnesota is a weird state because we have, people think Minneapolis is urban, obviously, but you drive, 5-10 minutes and you're out and you can be out in the farm field.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. We have 15,000 lakes. Mm-hmm. They say land of 10,000. It's really like 15,000 maybe. We have the Mississippi River. So it's a really cool state.
You know what you should do? You should go count each one. Have an episode for each.
Yes. Powerful.
See?
Take the boat out on 15,000 episodes of the Amish Baby Machine Pop Culture Podcast. The most powerful podcast ever created.
The most powerful.
It is the most powerful.
Where did the whole powerful thing come from?
I use it ironically. I use it literally. It just became a catchphrase. I always joke. I say, "Don't do a drinking game saying powerful because he'll die of alcohol poisoning."
You know what I like about? You know what I laugh about this when you tweet something, and then somebody will respond with something usually kind of weird. You just say powerful, which I think, and I get a kick out of that. I think it's funny.
I had someone once say, you should really bone up on your vocabulary and learn more than just powerful.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. I love it. I think
it's making fun of it. I don't know if you watch these news stories. They'll say, coming up next, a very powerful episode. It's just stupid. We have fun with it.
I always mess with my wife because she'll watch these like goofy dramatic shows and
exactly.
And they use the word poignant quite a bit.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I'm like, up next on another episode of the poignant Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes. Or they used to say back in the day, they say a very special episode.
This is very special. This is gripping, gripping episode.
And you'll have the news reporter and the anchor will go, "Thank you. That was just powerful video." Just powerful.
Up next, a 20-pound tomato.
That's powerful.
Very powerful.
That's awesome.
No, I like it. I think it's great.
Thank you for enjoying it.
I do enjoy it. If no one
That's
else,
the other thing we say all the time too is enjoy.
Enjoy yourself.
What are you doing? I'm just enjoying a hamburger.
Enjoying it. That's right.
Yes.
You have to enjoy it. It's not enough.
Well, how about Coca-Cola? That's their motto. It says enjoy Coca-Cola.
Enjoy Coca-Cola. It's simple and to the point.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask about
these
last couple powerful episodes that you've done that are not really pop culture related. And I want to know why.
Which ones?
Well, you did the submarine Disaster. You did the
Oh, you know why we were doing those?
Why?
Because do you remember the show In Search of? Did you ever hear that?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, In Search of. I love that Leonard Nimoy did. I loved Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an homage,
Oh, cool.
homage, however you want to say it to that. So pop culture, the reason we call it the Amish Baby Machine Pop Culture Podcast, the most powerful podcast ever created, is we could talk about everything. Everything to me is pop culture. Food, fast food. We get into mysteries. I love Unsolved Mysteries. I like disasters, tornadoes, all that. So it kind of all goes under the pop culture banner.
I like that.
I mean, we used to go out and see movies, like I said, and now we can't do that. So
can't do that anymore. And see, I thought, and here was my thought, and this is completely wrong. I thought maybe because of that, there's no movies and other stuff going on. So I thought maybe you were like, hey, we can get into some of this other stuff, since the pop culture, current pop culture situation is a bit of a downer for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, really.
So I thought maybe that
Hollywood's unraveling. Yeah, it is. It's just I like it. I like the topics. I like mystery. I like unsolved. I like conspiracies. All that. It's cool.
It is. Did you watch the new Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix?
I haven't. That's going to be the next thing.
You should.
Have you guys?
I watched. We watched the first episode, which I thought was okay, but there is a particular UFO episode that I laughed through the entire thing, but it's not intended to be funny.
I'll have to check it out.
It is. Yeah, you just have to. I was like, is this for real? It's hilarious. But those shows, I remember when I was a kid, we used to watch Unsolved Mysteries and Rescue 911. They came on.
Oh, great show.
All the time. And you had Robert Stack on Unsolved Mysteries and then William Shatner on Rescue 911.
Oh, yeah. No one better than those two.
Yeah. And Robert Stack, like, walking in from the smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Join us. Unsolved Mysteries.
Join us.
Join us.
Yeah, it just scared the shit out of you when you heard that music.
Yeah. An infant is sucked out of its window.
Yes.
Join us. Is it aliens?
I used that Rescue 911 technique once. I had a zip tie, and I was just playing with it. You zip, 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 and I did it on my thumb. And it's like, Jesus Christ, my thumb is just pulsating. And then I'm like, wait a minute. There's an episode where they used liquid soap, from the bathroom soap, and I put it on there, and it slid right off. I'm like, thank you, William Shatner.
William Shatner saved your thumb.
Yes, he's the best Star Trek captain, by the way. Fuck Picard. I hate Picard. I don't even know why people like Picard. It's like an old bald dude. What's his point? Khan would kick his ass. Can you imagine that?
Picard's he's not intimidating at all.
No, and I don't like him. And everyone, they all make excuses. Whoa, he's really intelligent. Blah. No.
Did you like the new Star Trek movies?
They're all right. I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like the 80s Star Trek movies.
Those are.
I love Khan.
Yeah, I like those. I remember watching those. I remember my grandparents had those on like these like unmarked VHS tapes. I think.
Pretty sure you got to be careful.
Yeah.
You don't want to mix those up.
No. So I do remember watching those, and I just feel like these new movies, like the new Star Trek and Star Wars movies. It's just kind of like the Star. Man, I was like, how does everybody know fucking Kung Fu in the new Star Trek movies?
Oh, that's the thing, too. They always had to make everything into action, too. Not everything has to be action. They'll take a story and then everything has to be, they have to dumb it down. Or whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking that I couldn't believe that the Star Trek, the new Star Trek movie, I think it's already from 10 years ago, which is crazy.
I know, isn't it?
I mean, but I did like that one. I thought that was okay.
No, they're good. I don't hate any of them. I just, nostalgia-wise, I like the 80s ones the best.
I think they're good. I think they're the original. It's like the original Star Wars. We were talking about this when I was on that live show last week.
Yes, there's only 3 Star Wars movies.
That's what I said.
Yes.
I grew up with the good Star Wars.
Yes, that's the right answer.
But the stories were good and they were simple. It's just like Darth Vader is a shitty father. His kids, are like, why are you doing this with your laser sword? And then at the end, he saves his son.
No, it's yeah, you're right. I like.